A very warm welcome in the class of Mathematics 3. Today we are going to start propositional logic, or sometimes we can call it propositional calculus. Myself Rupak Bhattacharjee, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, JIS College of Engineering. Before entering into this class, we are going to share a story with you, but it is not an one-directional story. We have to participate all. Yes, you please think about the solution of the problem is going to be stated now. There are 5 persons, A, B, C, D, and E, are in a compartment in a train where among these 5, A, C, and E are men and B and D are women. So the next is the train is now passing through a tunnel, and when it emerges, what we see that E is murdered. The question is, who murdered E? Now the investigation process started, and obviously A, B, C, and D are there to be interrogated. So, when this inquiry held, they made the statements like this. A said, I am innocent. B was talking to E when the train was passing through the tunnel. B said, I am innocent. I was not talking to E when the train was passing through the tunnel. C said, I am innocent. D committed the murder. And D said, I am innocent. One of the men committed the murder. We get here 4 persons, 8 statements. Now, 4 of these 8 statements are true. It is given to us, or rather you can say it is already verified, but which 4 we don't know. Now we have to assume that only one person committed the murder. The question is, who did it? We have to find out the murderer from these particular statements using your logic. Who is the murderer? So let us proceed using our common sense. There are the statements stated here, and we have to emphasize on this part that 4 of these 8 statements are true. That means remaining 4 are false, and only one person committed the murder. Now, if we want to find out the murderer, then how we can proceed? Please concentrate. You can also think about this. Now, what are the statements A, B, C, and D made? Two statements. B made 2 statements. C made 2 statements, and D made 2 statements. Now, among these first statements, if we consider these four first, all of them are claiming they are innocent, but we know one of them is the murderer. Now, it is very much clear from our logic that these four are not true, but among these four, there are three true statements, one false statement, and in cumulative manner, there are four true statements, four false statements. So, if there are three true statements in this segment, that means in the second set of statements of A, B, C, and D, we will get only one true and three of them are false. Up to this, I think logically it is clear to us. Now, what we can see that the second statement of A and the second statement of B, they are contradicting each other, because A is saying B was talking to E when the train was passing through the tunnel, and B has made the statement that I was not talking to E when the train was passing through the tunnel. So they both of them can't be true. So any one of them is true and another one of them is false. But in different angle, if we see that there are three statements true and only one is true here, this one true statement belongs here, either this one is true or this one is true. So it is guaranteed that both of them are false, because there has to be three false statements. Now, if you think it from this point of view, that these two statements are false, it is guaranteed, then the second statement, which is D committed the murder, is false. That means D is not coming into the scenario. And the second statement of D, that one of the men committed the murder, as these two are under true and false category, how many men are there? You please try to recall that A, B, C, D and E, 5 persons are there, and A, C, E, you can go for the next previous one, and then you can see that A, C, E are men and B and D are women. So A, C, E, they are all men. And statement of second statement of D tells us that one of the men committed the murder, and if it is false, then this one is also going to be false. And C, this statement is going to be true, because this is false. It can't be false because the total number of false statements then will be 5. So C is not also coming under the category of murderer. So ultimately one is left, that B is the rightly suspected person who committed the murder. Now, if you have already identified the murderer from this story and from these logical statements, you have used the sequential approach, which is nothing but the logic you have implemented. You have not done it by choice, you have not done it by arbitrarily. So ultimately, this logical approach in mathematics can be stated or can formulated by a chapter or by a part of mathematics which is called propositional logic or propositional calculus. Now we are going to start our formal study, formal approach of these problems or of this topic. So the prerequisites for this particular segment of mathematics is that nothing but the logical approach. This is one of the prerequisite. Second is sequential follow-up. Sequential follow-up of the statements and verification of the conclusion what we have made through our approaches. So as it is the very first class, there is no more prerequisites we have. We just have to start our journey from the initiation. So when we get a declarative sentence which is either true or false, we have to take a declarative sentence. Now it has to declare something and it must have a state that either it will be true or it will be false. So this sentence is called with this particular criteria or characteristic is statement. And sometimes it is called, the statement is called proposition. Clear? So this is the building block of this particular logic or particular chapter, that what is proposition. So immediately we must have some examples. This is, if you take that it is cold, look at this, it gives you a declarative sentence which is having a status, either it will be cold or it will be not. So this statement is having status either true or false, you can claim that. So it is a statement or proposition. But if I give you a sentence where it is given to you as, what is your name? It is not at all having the status either true or false. You can't claim that. That means it is not a declarative sentence and you can't say that it is a proposition. Now, in case of proposition, we are giving the status by true or false. This is called truth value of proposition. Truth value of the proposition. So what is truth value of the proposition? This status where the proposition may take two truth values, either true or false. Both of them are undercoming truth value. True is a truth value of a statement or proposition. Similarly, false is also a truth value of a proposition. Okay, so if I say one statement or proposition that 4 plus 5 is equal to 10, the truth value of this statement is false. It is declarative, but it is a false one. And if I say 4 plus 5 is equal to 9, the truth value of this one is true. It is just as a simple thing like that. Now, what is this P? We are using this idea of P, Q, R, sometimes in small letters or sometimes in capital letters. They are denoting the propositions and we call them propositional variable because it can take the value T or it can take the value F as its truth value. So, for this truth value, what we are doing, we are constructing one important thing and total chapter will be depending on that. We have to construct one thing which is called truth table. Truth table is nothing but a display of the truth values of the propositions. So, if you have suppose only one proposition, then what are the truth values it can have? Either it will be true or it will be false. Nothing more than this. Okay. So this is the truth value or truth table of one proposition. So immediately you may have a question that if I have two propositions and I know that I have two truth values of P as well as two truth values of Q, but will I write only true and false? Suppose I am writing here true and false and I am also writing here true and false. Is it sufficient? The answer is no, because you are taking the combination when both of them are true, you are taking the combination when both of them are false. But what is about this combination? Then when P is true and Q is false, it has to be considered. Similarly, we have to consider that when P is false but Q is true, this is also important to judge. So when you are going to get two propositions, two propositional variables, then you have to make these four variations to be checked. Clear? Now, if we go for the next important part, which is called logical connectives or operations on statements. Anything you can use. I am writing logical connectives. What is this? Why it is important? I am coming. Just try to find out when we have defined a set of numbers. After that, we have devised another set of operations and we are taking numbers from here, we are taking operations from here and we are getting some output over here. Similarly, when we are making that propositions, we need also some operations of these statements or connectives so that these propositions along with these operations gives you the output, that means the combination of the propositions. How you are going to combine? This answer is we are going to combine them by logical connectives. So there are so many logical connectives, like so many operations. We are going to start with them basic logical connectives first. First one of them is called conjunction. The name is conjunction the symbol is this. We can utter it by and. So when you see that P and Q are two propositions, then both of them, when we are combining them by this and, P and Q, this is called the conjunction of P and Q. P and Q means the notation will be like this: P conjunction Q. Clear? Now I am taking two statements. P, suppose it states that it is raining, and Q, it is stating that it is hot. Now, what is the meaning of this one? The meaning of this one is it is raining and it is hot. Means both of them are simultaneously true. Clear? It is just the example of conjunction. We need the truth table of conjunction also. So if we construct the truth table of conjunction, suppose I am constructing here, then how to make it represented? P, Q, P conjunction Q. Already in the last slide, we have discussed that what are the possible cases we can take. So P can take true, true, false, false, and Q can take true, false, true, false, so that all possible combinations are coming. Please try to understand the definition of conjunction. Then when both of them are true, then P and Q is true. Clear? But when you are taking any one of them is false, then can you say, suppose look at this example, suppose it is raining but it is not hot. Can you say P and Q is true? If you can't say, it will be false. Now suppose it is not raining but it is hot. Can you say it is raining and it is hot is true statement? Someone is claiming no, so it will be also false. And suppose it is not raining and it is not at all hot, and someone is coming and claiming that it is raining and it is hot. What status you will give to them, to that particular statement? That they are not talking the truth. So it will also be false. So this is the truth table of conjunction, that true combination only gives you true and the remaining are all false. If this logical connective is clear, then we are just going to follow the same pattern for the coming logical connectives with some different definition only. So let us proceed further. We are now taking the next logical connective, which is disjunction. Disjunction means if you are taking P and Q, you need P or Q is to be true, then it is called disjunction, and the notation is P or Q. I know that you are getting some similarity with the state theoretic concept and you are right. But here we have to follow all these notations because it will be gradually coming to give you different aspects of logical representations. So suppose we are taking the same example that P is it is raining and Q is it is hot. Then what will be the truth table of P and Q? And then P disjunction Q. So it will be true, true, false, false, true, false, true, false. Clear? Now think about just the basic logical approaches. If the statement is in front of you that it is raining or it is hot. So as both of them are true, so any one of them will be true. So the status of P disjunction Q will be T. Now if you get the statement that it is raining but it is not hot. No, it is raining or it is not hot. You are seeing that it is raining, it is true, it is not hot, it is false, but the requirement is any one of them has to be true. So P disjunction Q will be true because the requirement is any one of them has to be true. Next one is the reverse one. Suppose it is not raining or it is hot, but ultimately it is hot. This particular statement is having the status true over here, so it will be true. Now if both of them are false, then can you claim that any one of them is true? Please try to understand. If both of them are false, then can you say at least what is our requirement that at least any one of them has to be true? Can I claim? No. So in this case, the truth status of P disjunction Q will be false. So this is the second logical connective, what we can say as disjunction. Now another logical connective we can make, which is called negation. What is the meaning of negation? Suppose you have one statement or proposition as P, then this is the notation of negation of P. It states that when your basic statement or proposition or initial statement status, it will just make the reverse characteristic. That means when P is true, negation of P will be false. When P is false, the negation of P status will be true. So what will be the truth table of this one? It is your P and it is your negation P. So P can have only two status, true and false, and I can't write any more because there is only one proposition. Now P is true means negation of P will be false, and P is false means negation of P will be true. Clear? This is the truth table of negation. And if you want to see the example, that if you take P as it is hot, then negation of P is it is not hot, but it is hot. So negation of P will be false. Similarly, it is hot. If it is false, then it is not hot. This statement's status will be true. As this is very much basic logical idea, sometimes we feel that it is obvious or it is trivial, but you have to make one thing very much clear to you, that all the decisions what you are going to make depends on the given one. The given one gives you to take the decision. So these logical steps you must not forget, and you never mix your own idea with the problems. Clear? Now, in this class, we have discussed only three logical connectives. What we can do here, we can go for some basic examples like this. Suppose you have a statement Ram goes to stadium, and another statement Rohim goes to stadium. Now, if we have to construct this symbolic form, that means the logical representation of some linguistic statements, like first one, both Ram and Rohim goes to stadium. What will be this? P Q. It is both. Simple. Second one, at least one of Ram and Rohim goes to stadium. This both gives you this symbol. This at least will give you this symbol, because any one of them has to go. Now, interestingly, if I take the third linguistic statement in this form, that Ram does not go to stadium, but Rohim goes to stadium, then what will be the statement? Now look at this, as Ram does not go to the stadium, that means it is negation of P, and Rohim goes to the stadium, it is Q. But what is stated, that Ram does not go, but Rohim goes. That means this will be this one with conjunction property, because it is having the truth status true and P is having the truth status false. That means negation of P is having the truth status true. In this manner, actually, we have to proceed. Now I am giving one question open for you. Please think on this. If it is stated that either Ram or Rohim goes to stadium, what will be the presentation over here? And in the vice versa mode, if we want to say or if we want to construct that what will be the statement against the following symbol, that means we are now trying to find out the symbol to statement. In the previous slide we have made the reverse one, statement to symbol. Then what will be this? So suppose we are trying to find out negation of Q implies R conjunction of P. First of all, I want to give you idea that this is not yet discussed. I will discuss it in the just second class. But my important part to mention is that you are getting the number of propositions are increased from 2 to 3. Then what will be the truth table status of all these? So if it is having P, Q and R, how many combinations you are going to take? You please think on it. We will discuss this in the next class. So for today's class, it is I have covered the discussion and I have taken the help from these references, and finally there is one assignment what you please try to solve, because we have given the requirement for truth table and some simple MCQs. So I have given one more problem also in the assignment, from which you have to use the approach, logical approach what we have made in the first problem, like the murderer problem, and the story is given over here. Please try to find out the answer what is asked over here by your logical approaches, what is already stated in the first problem. So finally, I want to thank you all for your kind patience. Happy listening, happy learning.